It's my privilege to again welcome Commissioner Cecilia Malmstrom to New Zealand. We've had a very enjoyable first formal meeting now that we have formally launched the trade negotiations. We discussed a number of issues of common interest to us, both relating to the proposed free trade agreement between the European Union and New Zealand, but also other issues relating to rising protectionism. Of course, you'll all be aware that the European Union is already, even without a free trade agreement, collectively our third largest trading partner. We have two-way trade that last year was valued at $21.5 billion. It's more than 10% of our exports, and even excluding the United Kingdom, two-way trade is about $16 billion per annum. We're natural partners in so many ways. There's not many countries in the world that stand up for human rights, nuclear weapons controls, respect for minorities, support good labour laws that hold up wages so that we've got high wage economies, that invest in technology for the betterment of our economies and the world, that believe so strongly in addressing some of these environmental problems that bedevil the world and go further than any one of our geographic boundaries. But those countries in the world that really do walk the talk include the countries of Europe and New Zealand. And so we've got a shared history as well as those shared values that arise from that shared history. In New Zealand, we know that as a little country we're highly dependent upon trade. About 620,000 of those in employment in New Zealand are reliant on exports. The wages earned in exporting firms are generally about 6% higher than they are in firms that serve only the New Zealand economy, and they're more productive. We know that if we pursue our points of comparative advantage with the European Union, that we will prosper. We will also deliver benefits to the European economy, who will benefit from what we do well. Conversely, there are a lot more areas of the economy in Europe that they do well because they have a scale of population and investment that we don't enjoy in New Zealand. And as a consequence, Europe will be able to increase the productivity of their economy by improving the quantity and value of services and goods that they sell to New Zealand. So we're really interested in and have already appropriated from Europe a lot of the work that they've done to reach out to their population to try and rebuild a consensus around trade. Our Trade for All agenda, we were having a discussion or a joke about the fact that we'll have to do better on IP protection because we stole the name Trade for All. The truth behind that, actually, Commissioner Malmstrom, was that we had a very long name which the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade are very good at coming up with and then converting into an acronym. When we were about to launch it, we actually realised that, oh goodness, we can't sell that, and so we Googled it and we found your name and we thought, well, there'd been a lot of research that would sit behind that name. Why don't we just put a few extra words on it and put Trade for All on it, but it belies a real genuine commitment on the part of the government to actually convince New Zealanders that the benefits of trade reach them all. From the person who works on a farm or in a freezing works or in a factory or on a software producer or on any of the secondary industries that rely upon them, trade really does benefit all, and we're determined to push the benefits of those trade down to smaller businesses by reducing their barriers to trade, by encouraging more women into trade. Women-owned businesses are underrepresented in our trade statistics in New Zealand, and we want to turn that around. And of course, we've also got a burgeoning Indigenous economy born of settlements that we've had with our Indigenous people in New Zealand that have increased their capital base, and we're trying to encourage them to do better in respect of their export trading relationships. We're delighted that at long last we're in a trade negotiation with the European Union, and with that I just welcome you again and invite you to say some words before we answer questions.
Thank you very much, Minister, dear David. Ladies and gentlemen, it's great to be here in Wellington this morning to launch together officially the negotiations between the European Union and New Zealand. So it's an important milestone in our relations. They are already good and deep and historic, but this is about opening up a new chapter, new economic possibilities for our companies, big and small, and I think we will try to focus especially on the small and medium-sized companies, facilitating for them, but also giving new opportunities and choices to the consumers as well. And also, as the Minister said, deepening the strategic ties that we have. New Zealand is a friend and an ally. Together we stand up for common values as expressed in Trade for All, but also the values of sustainable trade, open trade, transparent trade, and trade that is good, that is done in compliance with international rules in the multilateral system. And we know that that today is put into question. So this will offer hands-on economic benefits. We already do trade with each other, but we will try to facilitate that even further. And building this relationship so that we can create more jobs and widen the consumer choices. It is economically important. We have made an impact assessment, and overall trading goods between us could increase by almost 50% if we have an ambitious agreement. It is for us important that European companies have access to the New Zealand market on a level playing field with other countries, of course. This is important for industries such as motor equipment, machinery, chemicals, textiles and others. And for New Zealand, of course, a market of 500 million people is important for your small and medium-sized companies, for your services, which I've seen is booming in this country. And we will have an excellent opportunity to set ambitious rules to facilitate trade, because trade is about tariffs, but it's also very much about obstacles, red tape, bureaucracy, difficult procedures to get your certificates and licenses. And if we can facilitate this, while of course defending the very high level of consumer protection that we both have, I think this is an excellent thing. So through trade agreements we can forge new partnership or boost old ones, like this one, standing up for rule-based world trade based on openness and fairness. So we today formally launch the negotiations. I will have the possibility to meet also with the colleagues of the Minister and other stakeholders here in New Zealand. In a few weeks' time in July, we will technically start the negotiations with our team coming together. I think we are well prepared. We have experienced negotiators from both sides, so we are looking very much forward to that, so that talks can be concluded soon. So exciting times today for the European Union and for New Zealand. I'm very happy to be here today, and thank you so much for your hospitality.